Welcome to the Lifetime GPS training. We're going to go over the current GPS offering using the MYLAPS X2 Link server system. And we're going to talk about how it's set up from a high level. Then we're going to go into configuring the X2 Link server, the base links, and connecting it all to Lifetime so we can start doing some GPS timing. So just a quick high level diagram here to get an idea of how all these things fit together. First, of course, we start out with the GPS satellites. They're talking to devices that are attached to vehicles. These are called RaceLinks. The top item here is the RaceLink Club. It has an ability to have external antennas and direct power, but it also has a battery. And then below it, we have a RaceLink GPS. This is very much a no external connections to it. It's very much like a TR2 transponder that you can get for traditional MYLAPS timing. It has an internal battery, charges, and collects GPS information as well. So these are placed on vehicles. They go around, they're collecting GPS information, and then they are sending their GPS coordinates to an antenna called a base link. So MYLAPS has these antennas. You would put them around your track or very close by. If you're doing water sports, you put them on the beach or shore, somewhere close by. But all of the race links are telling their GPS position constantly to these base link antennas. You can have one or more antennas, but they all have to be hooked up to this X2 Link server. This is the data collection device. So all the base links are collecting that GPS data, all sending it to the X2 Link server, and then that is what Lifetime talks to collect that data and do timing. With that understanding, we're going to talk about setting up the X2 Link server first, connecting it to base links and getting all that going, and then we're going to get into Lifetime and talking to that link server. So let's get started. We're going to be opening up a program called X2 Race Control to start communicating and talking to our X2 Link server. Okay, so first thing to note, your X2 Link server, you need to plug it into your network, and there's a screen on the front of it that once you plug it in, it will tell you what its IP address is, the number with the dots in the middle here. So our X2 Link server for this demo is at 192.168.1.120. A little trick, if you ever need to download the software to talk to it and you don't know where to go, you can actually open a web browser and type in the actual IP address of what's being shown on the screen, and it'll take you to a web page. It will serve you this web page right off of its own hardware. And there's links to actually be able to download the software to directly configure it. The one you're looking for is this link right off the homepage called X2 Race Control Manager. So you're going to want to download this and install it, and then we can get into it and start configuring it. Okay, so once you have X2 Race Control installed, there's going to be an icon that looks like this on your desktop. I'm going to go ahead and open it. And it's going to ask you where the server is and the login and password. So I'll just use that same IP address we used earlier to connect to it directly and get this software. And I'm going to go ahead and connect. Okay, once the software is connected, the first thing you need to do is you need to tell it about the base links. So those base link antennas we showed in the diagram at the beginning are got to be on the same network, and you need to tell the X2 Link server what the IP address is of those base links. Problem is you might not know what they are, but the good news is under the base link section, there's a button here that says Discover on Network. This is pretty much always going to work. You click on it, it's going to scan your network, and it's going to tell you which base links it sees. You're going to click on each one of them and add them. So here's the one that I've got set up. I'm going to hit Add Selected, and then I'm going to close it. The big thing to remember here is that once you see it, you definitely need to double click on it, and here where it says Mode, you need to turn it on. If you do not have it on, it's not going to see race links and be able to tell and report GPS. So be sure to turn it on and hit OK. Give it a little bit of time to connect itself to GPS satellites and get its time synced, and it should start detecting race links. So you can see I have one here to demo, and it puts it in this available group. So there's another part to this where it's going to see all those race links out there, but it's not necessarily going to pull in all of that GPS data as you go. What you'll need to do is you'll need to activate it. I'm going to show you later in live time, there's an option where when you connect to it, you tell it, I want every RaceLink you detect to immediately activate. But until then, if you want to test it here, see if it's working, see if it's getting GPS, you do need to do this manually. You need to click on the RaceLink, right-click it, and select Activate. There's a little bit of a refresh delay here, but eventually what you'll see is it's going to go away from being in the available list, and it's going to show in the active group. Once it's active, you're going to be able to see all of its GPS data, battery life information, and just a whole bunch of other information about the unit. So once you have your base links all connected, remember again to use the Discover on the Network button to add them. Make sure to double-click each one and make sure that the mode is on. And make sure if you want to test your RaceLinks to activate them, we now know that our base links are ready to go, our X2 link server is ready to go, that we can detect RaceLinks. Now the rest of what needs to happen can happen in live time. So we're going to open up that and we're going to get it connected and start doing some GPS timing. Okay, I am now logged into live time, but I want to point out something right on the home screen before we continue. There is this section here that says GPS. You need to be online when you log in to Lifetime Scoring Engine in order for the GPS system to be activated. So if you don't see this GPS on the home screen, close out of the scoring engine and re-log in while you're online to make sure that the GPS option is activated. You'll also notice when it's activated, there's a GPS map here at the top, which we'll be using here in a minute. At this point, I'm going to connect to the X2 link server. You'll notice that there's a red decoder box up in the upper right-hand corner. We're going to head and click on that and click on the X2 link server tab. Before you throw the switch to turn it on, you'll need to type in the IP address of your X2 link server. So that for me is 192.168.1.120. I'll type in the username and password, and then I'm going to throw the switch to connect to my X2 link server. What you're looking for here is that a status says connected and authenticated is true. It'll also list out all the base links you've already connected. So it's going to show that base link that I already connected when I was in X2 Race Control. If you have more than one base link, make sure that all of them are here. It's also going to tell you the status of it's connected. This is if the X2 link server is connected to the base link. So they should all be true if you've just come out from testing it. The other thing I want to show you though is under RaceLinks, this checkbox right here, this automatic RaceLink activation, if you check it, that's what automatically is going to take anyone that's detected and it's going to go from being announced to being in the active group. Okay, at this point, I'm going to open up the GPS map in the upper right corner here as well. And what you're going to notice is that when I look at the map, it's going to show close to where you are geographically. And when you scroll in, you're going to see a red curved box. Every base link antenna is shown with a red box. And in fact, if I click on it, this pop-out appears showing a device, the base link shown here. These are all pop-outs just like on the race screen, just like on schedule. In other parts of the software, you can pop them in and out, just like any other feature that has a vertical buttons on the left-hand side. You're also going to notice that all your race links are going to show up as question marks. They're circles with question marks. If I click on them, it'll pop out and go, oh, I see transponder 227243 is on the map. And by the way, you can click and drag. You can zoom in and out on your map. You can click these buttons if you want. But there's no name. There's nobody associated with that circle yet, right? Because we have not assigned that transponder to somebody. That 227243, I'm going to keep that in mind. And I'm going to go to the drivers section, click on my name, and under transponders, I'm going to not select a standard transponder, but a GPS. I'm going to go 227243, and I'm going to add it to myself. The moment that happens, I'm going to go back to the map, and what you're going to notice is that it changed now. It knows that Corey is associated with that transponder, and when I zoom in, you'll even notice that it uses the color and the vehicle number that I've assigned myself to that class. So you'll see right here, when I click on Corey and I go to open buggy, that GPS transponder is assigned to me. My car number is 1A. And now when I click back on that GPS map, 1A is shown moving around on the map, and it's also color coded to the vehicle number that I chose. Okay, so now that I have my RaceLink linked up to my name, 1A, and it's going, I've set it up so that it goes back and forth automatically to demonstrate some other features and how we're actually going to time. But now that we've got it moving, we need to create a line so that when it gets crossed, we say, aha, that's the start-finish line, that's a crossing, and as we start to collect laps. So we have to first draw a line on the map that we're going to use for timing. And to do that, you're actually going to click on the left-hand side here and click on decoders. I'm going to just create something and call it purple line and hit add. You can color it whatever you want. I'm going to change the color to purple. And with this pencil tool, I'm going to click on it and I'm going to click twice. So one to the start of the line and the other time at the end of the line, and that creates a line that I can start timing off of. Now, the line alone doesn't do anything. It's just on the map, but we have to tell the system that line is meant to be a start-finish line. And to do that, I need to click on the decoder in the upper right corner. For the decoder, I'll need to change this to MYLAPS X2 GPS to say this is going to be a line that we're going to have drawn by GPS. And down here where it says GPS decoder, that line that I created called purple line, I'm going to click on it. As soon as I do that, it goes green. And when I click back on the map, whenever that line is crossed, it's tied to this start-finish line here, and it's going to count as such when we're doing timing. When I go to the race screen, when that line gets crossed, you're going to see that it's going to flash over it, and it's going to say, okay, I know that that person crossed the line. I need to make sure that on my race screen, I'm in purple flag. So now it's listening. There you go. So now that it crossed on that line, it flashed. So as I come back, it's getting close to that line. I'm going to go back to the race screen, and it's going to cross right now. So then it flashes. So this is just like regular check-in. This is just like if you had a physical loop buried in the ground and someone crossed that line, it crosses over and detects as a lap. So really everything is ready to go. I can go ahead and hit start race. And as soon as I cross that GPS line, the first time it's going to start my clock because this is a staggered start race. And then when I go ahead and come back and cross again, now I've got a lap. And so it'll continue to do this, and anytime someone on the GPS crosses that line, the system's going to think that's a crossing of the start-finish line and record it. One other thing I want to point out that's specific to MYLAPS RaceLink transponders is that when you have this decoder set up in GPS, there is a checkbox here that says offline. The MYLAPS RaceLinks have the ability to store a certain amount of the lines you draw on the map themselves, and even if they don't have a connection to the base link while they're crossing it, they'll store that crossing, and as soon as they do, they'll report it back to the timing software and get caught up. So most of the time, you're going to actually want to check this because you're going to want to tell it that RaceLink should know about these lines, and when they cross, even if they are out of the range of base links, as soon as they are, report it in so we know they crossed it. So make sure to have that checked as well. So I've let this run for a while. I'm going to go ahead and hit finish race. And when you finish a race in the system, one additional feature appears when you're running GPS, and that is there's a GPS replay button. When you click it, it will open up the map to show the replay and show all the dots, and you can scrub back and forth, and we'll demonstrate in that in a minute. But there's one more thing I want to show you first in the GPS map. Clicking on the GPS map, we currently have the race links moving back and forth, but we just have a line. One thing that we want to also add to our map is called a course. So this is the actual plot of where somebody is going to actually drive on the course. So I'm going to just call this my track map, and I'm going to hit add. And just like how we clicked the pencil and drew a line across for the start-finish line, I can click the pencil and start dotting a course on the map. Now this is in a residential neighborhood, so bear with me a little bit, but basically I'm going to draw a map where I expect everyone to drive, and if I click on edit and I start clicking lines, you'll see here that it creates a map as we go. Now, you can see these really harsh angles that I'm clicking on where it will connect it. If I want to do a smooth curve, just do a lot of smaller lines in the middle here to make a nice curve. So right here, I'm just going to click a lot of buttons here to make a nice smooth line. And you always want to kind of get it to the end where the finish is. And then you'll see up here, it's still in draw mode. Click on finish, and then that course is in here. If you want that course to be a little bit more transparent, you want to be able to see what's behind it on the map, you can use the opacity slider, and you can see it kind of fades in and out as you go. If you want to change the color of the course, maybe you want it to be green, you can change the color here as well. Whatever works, whatever gives you a good indicator, a good path so that you can follow where the dots you expect to go on the map. I'm going to go back to the race screen here, and then let's talk about replay. Okay, so for the replay function, I didn't want to just show you a replay of one RaceLink going back and forth on a line. So I've loaded up a archived GPS race so that we can look at it, and I can show you a little bit of the features of the replay. So here I have a race. I've clicked on it to show the replay. It automatically fills in the start and end times of the race. I can go ahead and hit play, and it just starts showing me the GPS replay of the entire race. While it's going on, I can zoom in and take a look at particular dots and follow them. I can pause it. I can use this thing here, and I can just scroll up and down to the exact time. You can see at the top here, it's telling me, you know, at 4:14, here's where they were. At 4:17, here's where they were. This green bar across the top will show flag colors. So if something goes into caution and then comes out, you'll see those on the timeline. And if you click on any particular dot, it will highlight who it is. You can do a hide all and click on one person. And actually, this person was sitting here in the pit. So I'm going to click on 17, and then I'm going to play, and I can just zoom in, and we can just watch this particular person. You can see them go across the line and follow the whole track map. So ultimately, this is a great way to look at replays, study what somebody did, look for penalties, etc. I can hit show all, and suddenly all the dots show back up. So it's a great way to review a race in GPS. So that's it. We'll let this play out. We'll see you in the next video.